I'm gonna turn the camera on. Nothing. Nothing. Yo, can I get one of these things on layaway?
Layaway?
I'm hungry.
Oh, what do you mean when you leave?
Well, yeah, I'll pay when I leave. Which one is it? What is this? What's this one? Any good? Protein bar cookies and cream looks gross.
I don't like any of them. Get a mama tea.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to actually eat some real food after this. Let's go back to doing my stuff.
Okay. We are good. You guys can start asking questions as soon as you get into the live. The sooner you ask the questions, the more.
By the way, when you're reading,
Yeah.
don't read like you're talking to them because you're like whispering. You're like,
I'm-
hi, my name. Hi.
I'm not whispering.
Yeah, so talk louder.
I actually turned my mic up too, so yeah. Hi, Eric.
Who's that? Eric. Eric who?
Seagull.
What up, Eric?
That shirt is dope.
Man, I wore one. You guys, hey, when I wore that flower shirt, I got such a terrible reviews. It was like, don't ever wear the shirt again. And then I was also wearing my other shorts that are too tight, so they kind of like ride up. So I was wearing so it was like nice grandma's dress, something like that. And I couldn't say anything, but just be like, yeah, it looks bad. I thought it was cool. I thought the flowers was cool. It wasn't cool. What? Oh, where's my Indian band?
The smaller ones are up at the front.
I just have to the thing about this is I have to just work through the pain no matter what, because that's all it is. So when I keep doing this, how many people we got in there so far?
Hey, Johnny, what's the best way to build middle chest fibers? Is there a specific exercise or technique?
Nope. Zero, actually. So the middle of the chest fibers is think of your anchoring point for your chest anatomy. So majority of your chest muscle, your pec major, the mass part of your chest, the anchor points are on your sternum, right? They're attached here, and then they come over and they attach to your arm around here somewhere, right? So when we get the full range of motion, so when we take this arm back here, because again, the chest job is basically horizontal adduction, so it pulls this arm in like this. So we want to get this bone back here as far as we can, because again, if you think of the anchoring point in that stretched position, the further back we go, the greater stretch we have. So when we're stretching out our chest as much as we can while loading it, we're getting it bigger and then pulling all the way in and then getting a squeeze inside. So it's not like an exercise you can do that will make it to emphasize the middle of your chest. The biggest thing is just basically making sure we get a full stretch. Whether using dumbbells, which is good to use, a cambered bar, if you're doing push-ups with a deficit, anything that's gonna allow you to pull this bone all the way back here while you're still engaging your chest and stretching it, like pulling your chest up and then squeezing, or getting a camera bar, same thing, and that's gonna help you build the middle part of your chest. That helps.
How can I tell if I'm feeling my quads working when doing legs? I feel my exercises for legs, I tend to feel them more in my glutes than quads.
So, okay, guys, let me give you some tips right now. If you're gonna ask me questions like that, give me specifics. I'm doing squats and I don't feel it in my quads, and that gives me better, some more info to give you a better answer, because I don't know what you're doing. So I can only just assume that if you're doing leg exercises, there's no way you're doing leg extensions and you can't feel your quads. So I'm assuming if you're doing squats, then we're not getting enough knee flexion. So what I mean by that is if we're doing squats or deadlifts, squats. Let's go here. Let's go like this.
Here.
All right. So if I want my quads to get a lot more activation, when we're doing, let's say split squats or squats, I want this to happen, right? Oh, it feels good. But I want my knee, I need this to happen and over toe, right? So I'm gonna get the most amount of flexion, right? If I do the same thing, but I kind of do this instead and kind of sit back, I'm getting a lot more glute and I'm not getting as much quad. Even if I get all the way down to like, like this, but I'm sitting back more, I might get a lot more into my glutes and my hamstrings than it will feel in my quads. So make sure you're getting a lot of, basically your knee needs to be kind of like this, all the way like this and out to really feel your quads or activate them even more.
Strongman workout versus bodybuilder workout. How different is the general setup, or is it close to the same?
I'm close to the same. Bodybuilding workout, guys, is like, it's just hypertrophy, right? You got to think of like, from a strength conditioning standpoint, because that's what I am. It's cool to say that. As a bodybuilder, the goal is to build muscle, right? Is to increase the volume of the muscle size. Where a strongman, their job is to do something really like an activity really strong once, right? Or even just walk, like if you're doing like, say, farmer carry, and you're here doing farmer carry, or you're taking stones and you're picking it up and you're chucking it over, completely different kind of training, right? Now, I would say that the bodybuilder is doing hypertrophy, and then the strength, and then I would say the strongman is doing a lot more strength. So that's the difference. Like strongmen aren't doing reps on reps of like stones, right? I mean, they have to, but they're not, they wouldn't be training that way. It'd be a lot more specific to what they're doing to get stronger for that specific sport or that specific event. So, yeah.
What about the amount of exercises that they do?
It's going to be specific to their event, right? So if they have, I don't know, say they have like 4 or 5 events that they're doing, whether it's like picking up stones, whether it's like a farmer's carry, or it's pulling a truck. We're talking about strongman, not like powerlifting. Strongman, wait a minute. Yeah, sorry. It'd be like Eddie Hall, right? I'm thinking like like the same thing. Those guys are doing like, it's event to event, right? So it's specific to that, where bodybuilding is specific to that muscle group. Like I'm going in to train my chest to get my chest bigger, where this person's going in to get better at doing a massive pull.
Is bench press suboptimal for pec hypertrophy? Are you asking if flat bench, or I don't know.
I think the best thing to say, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna probably continue saying it from here on out. I think we're really overcomplicating, and I've done it myself too. Overcomplicated chest training, right? Flat benches, for powerlifting and yada yada yada. Do more incline is gonna help with building your upper chest, yada yada yada. This study says that. This study says that. Here's how it's gonna work, right? Whatever. Like, if you're gonna go from like a flat bench to an incline, flat bench 15 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, they're gonna work for everybody differently, right? Depends on the person's genetics. Some people can sit there and look at weight and all of a sudden their chest blows up. Some people gotta just work really, really hard to make a chest blow. And then again, it's me, like I would say exercise specific to some people. Now the flat bench, you can still build a fairly good chest doing flat bench. I would say making sure we're doing any kind of bench, whether it's flat bench or incline, whatever, all the incline I'm saying, it's going to be the volume and the load that's going to be the difference maker in terms of your growth. So if I'm doing like flat bench and I'm doing sets of 5, I'm probably not going to utilize or maximize muscle growth by doing, I would say, power lifting reps or training wise. So if you're doing flat bench, just make sure you're doing like, your sets are a little longer, 30, 45 seconds. It's around like 70, I would say around 60 to 85% of our max, I think between there. And then, yeah.
Any nutrition tips for someone who works very early in the morning? I get up at 3, start work at 4:30, break is 9. I leave work at 12:30, I'm in bed by 7. Looking for more structured meal plan.
Join my school group. That'll help out a lot, definitely. But I would say kind of like treat you, it basically removing everything back, right? So you wouldn't, and again, if you're doing like that's your shift for good and not like a rotating shift. A lot of people have rotating shifts that kind of get them to kind of stay regular with their meals if it wasn't changing as much. But if that's your set, schedule and that's it day in, day out, I would say is move everything, like eat just like you would. If you're working at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm assuming whenever you're getting up, I would say you're eating your breakfast, your first meal, right then. You know, like the time you're awake and working, that's when you kind of want to put your food around. And again, when you're sleeping, that's when you don't want to put your food around. So if you say up at 3 o'clock in the morning, up at 3 and work at 4.
4:30, yeah.
Okay, so you're up at 3 o'clock, you eat your first meal at 3 o'clock, and then you go to work at 4, and then I will say like 3 hours from the first time you work from your first meal, you're probably gonna have like a snack, and then you have like maybe a lunch, then you get home, have like a dinner, or maybe have another snack and then dinner before you go to bed. And then wherever you're putting your training, I would assume you're probably putting your training after you work because you're basically still during the daytime, which is pretty cool. That shift's kind of wacky. But I would say that, like, just, you know, time your meals around, and like, you know, I would say like eat, if you're gonna have like 5 meals, I would say like, you know, eat like 3 hours between each meal, and, you know, making sure you bring meals with you. I could say you could do 4 meals in a day that have all protein. One of those is a snack. First one's at 3 o'clock. Second one's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. Then, yeah, there you go. I would say that.
What is your favorite pre-workout fuel / carb and post-workout? I generally wake up with yogurt and a banana, or do some fast carbs right before workout. Matter that much?
So I work out fasted a lot now because I'm up really early, and my body's used to that. And you know, my I'll have like a coffee and, you know, water, whatever. But on what I used to, I love, like, rice is a favorite for me. Easy digestible for me. I actually love rice. I like the coconut basmati rice. Is so good. The coconut jasmine rice is so good. That I used to have popcorn before working out. That was really good for me as well too. And those are like my go-tos. When I used to compete, it was either, you know, rice or popcorn. And if it was like rice, it would be like rice or like cream of rice. So like it'll be a cream of rice with, you know, protein powder and, you know, almond butter. And I had that before I work out. Or then it was like popcorn. If I was like in a rush, I'd have like, you know, 2 bags of popcorn, like a protein bar, or even just like a regular shake.
Bro, have you been to the LA Sphere?
The who?
The LA Sphere. I don't know
No.
what that is.
What's the LA Sphere? Did we just get trolled?
Recommendation for a rack system for a compact space in the garage?
Recommendation for a training?
Like a rack system for a compact space in a garage.
So, what's it called? What's that Power Tech? It's not a rack, but Power Tech. Remember we were at Rob Rich's place?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's Power Tech is a really good at-home training equipment that is like multifunctional. So you can get, like, you know, for really small spaces. And I've got a lot of my clients actually buy them. I'm not even sponsored by them. There's really good stuff. Really good to have. They have, you know, you're pushing and pressing and squatting all in one, plate loaded, and it's true to weight, and it's really good equipment. If you're looking for like an actual rack system, Bells of Steel has a really good rack system as well too. If you're looking for like the whole kit and caboodle, the rack with the 2 tower pulleys, and then, you know, your Smith machine plus your actual rack for free weights, go to bellsofsteel.com, and they have a ton of stuff on there too. So I'll go PowerTech or bellsofsteel.com. Those 2 would be my go-tos. If I was gonna if you're gonna be like, Johnny, suit my place up, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna call this place up, and whatever your budget is, stock you up.
Was watching a video on running biomechanics, and it says running is like a vertical jump. Is that true?
Running is like a vertical jump in terms of biomechanics. It's I get that. Why ask? That's cool. So if you think about it, I can't jump. When we do when I was sprinting, our warm-ups were like bounding, and bounding is basically like very similar to, like, you know, I would say squat jumping, right? So jumping really high and a running that kind of like bursts and power, it's very similar. So I can see that. What was the question?
Is that true? Is it the same biomechanic, running like vertical jumping?
Running and vertical jumping, so the difference is like you're going straight up, and running is like you're moving, and it's not the exact same. I had to look into that, but it's not the exact same, but there's some similarities for sure. Because we're looking at bounding, and if I would bound right now if my hip wasn't effed, but bounding you would see would look like jumping.
Deadlift bar versus hex bar. Would you recommend hex over normal bar?
Hex all day long. Just more functional. Most people, I find like when we put the bar in front of our body, it's a little more awkward and a lot more natural when we have our hands to our side. especially like it's a carryover in like everyday life activities. Like no one really goes to the grocery store and carries the groceries like this. And if you do, I don't know, man, you pound way too much. But yeah, I do hex bar all day long over, for sure.
For tricep overhead extension, where do your elbows point to? Out or more direct to the front? Let's go.
Tricep overhead extensions? Tricep overhead extensions?
Yeah.
With what?
I'm assuming a dumbbell. Talking about where your elbows are pointing?
Yeah. So the thing, it will vary depending on each person's mobility in the shoulder. So if you're like, if you see back in the day when I was a big ass bodybuilder, my arm was out this way. It was like that because there's no way in heck I was doing this. But you should be like slightly on an angle here to be able to push up, and here, right? The biggest like, what we want to do the most is really just make sure we keep our elbow in the position here where it's not trying to do this, or it's not overextending. Like keeping yourself up tall here and pulling up, and here is good. Now, if we're doing like say cables, and we have like the rope, then we want to be like this and pulling this way, right?
Would that be the same if you were using two hands with a dumbbell?
If you're using two hands, I wouldn't recommend doing two hands, but if we are, you want to be like this, not like this, right? I wouldn't recommend doing these at all. I cannot stand. If you're gonna do two hands, find some cables.
Is DOMS an indication that the muscle is going to start growing after workout?
Yes, it has some indication that for sure. Like soreness in general is just basically your body recovering from micro tears to your muscle, right? So when we're in the gym and we're training and we're shortening muscle and we're, creating the stimulus in our muscle, we're damaging the muscle. And then by damaging it, it has to heal, and then it gets stronger or bigger. So that damaging part, that healing part you're feeling is like sometimes DOMS or just like soreness. So yeah.
Thoughts on a 5-day asynchronous split? Push with arms, legs, pull with arms, rest, rest, question mark?
I wish I can visualize that in my brain.
Push with arms.
Push with arms.
Legs.
Then legs.
Pull with arms.
Pull with arms.
Rest, rest.
Rest, rest. Okay, so are we?
So push, pull.
Yeah,
push legs, like, pull, but with arms.
What I'm saying is our push including all of our shoulders too? Right, because like if we're trying to maximize muscle growth, we want to like train each muscle group at least like twice a week. If we can achieve that if you can achieve that in a 4 or 5 day split, it all depends on how you do it, right? So if you're getting, you're only getting one push day, you're only getting one pull day. So that's fine if your goal isn't, you can still grow muscle 100%. It's just gonna take a little bit longer than if you would have had like 2 days where you can do the same thing, but like a little bit of carryover. So like if your push day on one day, or say like your pull day on the other day had a little bit of like push into it, and your push day had a little bit of pull into it, you kind of be able to, I think, maximize that way. But it's like, again, it's gonna be like, what is your split for? Like, is your split's based on mainly, what can you actually commit to in the gym, and then what are you trying to target? Like, what are the muscle groups you're trying to get bigger?
Johnny, did I miss something? Looks like you lost a ton of weight.
Yeah, hell yeah. I've been, guys, I'm not on fucking steroids. Like, I think people are like, I'm not on steroids. All right, not anything. Not on TRT, not anything. I say the whole list of when I'm saying I'm not on anything, I'm on zero. I'm on squat all. And I'm not eating as much as I was before. So before, when I was on steroids, my diet was probably about 4,500 calories for sure. Now it's maybe 3,000, like maybe, right? So I'm 210 pounds right now, and I definitely lost a considerable amount of muscle. Funny thing is, I was holding my daughter the other day, and we're like, because every time his birthday comes around, we kind of look at pictures, and I'm like, she grew 50 pounds, and I lost 50 pounds. This is nuts. So I've literally lost 50 pounds in 6 years.
What pound of dumbbells do you curl?
15s, baby. Like working sets, probably like 40. I can do more. I just don't. For me, it's like it's got to be. I'm always looking at picking a weight that's gonna, exhaust my muscle. What are you laughing at?
Not. And the when they said the sphere, I meant the Las Vegas sphere. That makes so much more sense.
Oh, the Las Vegas sphere. Yes. Yes.
You have?
Wait, no, I
Have you
haven't.
been to it?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't been to the Las Vegas sphere.
No, not yet.
No, I haven't.
Is it worth it to get a whole dumbbell set, or should I just buy 2 or 3 different weights?
It's worth it to get because they're gonna eventually like because here's how it's gonna work. Let's say you get like some choice pieces here. Let's just go over here. Look at that. We got our dumbbell rack. All right. Oh. All right. Now, if I go to the store and I'm like, do I get all of these? No, I don't. Like I have no use for these at all. But you want to pick like a few weights that you're gonna use. And you gotta think of like, accessory stuff. So like like lateral raises, dumbbell curls, triceps, something like that. And then like you gotta look into, are you gonna use those for pressing as well too? So what does your dumbbell rack look like? I would say like, if anything, start at like, 10s and go all the way up to, I think go to 60. I don't know how strong you are, but I always say if you can do that, find like, 10s all to 60. But if you go to like here, to 30, and then you get stronger. You're gonna end up having to get in more weights, right?
I'm having some pain in my forearm, so instead of doing heavy weight, should I do lightweight with a lot more weight? Or reps, sorry? Lightweight with a lot more reps.
You have pain in your forearm?
Pain in the forearm, so instead of doing heavy weight, should I do lightweight with a lot more reps?
First, I would make sure you just let your body heal and then go from there. If your forearms are causing you pain, like, pain enough that it's affecting your ability to train hard, I would say take a break and let your forearm heal. But yeah, I would say like if anything, I'm always gonna choosing a moderate weight. I hate saying lighter weight. Like when I say choosing a lighter weight, it doesn't mean like I'm trying to pick a weight just so I can achieve reps. I'm trying to pick a weight that is gonna exhaust the hell out of my muscle. I wanna be like working my ass off with the weight I'm using. I don't want to just find a weight that can let me do whatever reps that I'm trying to do.
Just wanted to take the time to say, love the work you do, stay blessed.
Thank you.
What do you do when your body hits a plateau?
Reassess. So a couple of things you do. So if your body's hitting a plateau, it's a good sign because you've peaked at something, whether it's like muscle gain or strength. And then now it's time to do a few things. Now, number one, you can do like a deload week, give your body a break and relax, go back, allow your body to continue to get strong by, lessening the load. And then you can go up a little stronger, get stronger from there. Or it's probably time for a different change into your stimulus. So I would say going from a plateau, go into like a strength phase, where your strength phase isn't like doing like 1 to 5 reps. It's like, increase the load a little bit, speeding up your rep, and then giving yourself like 4 to 6 weeks of like really, getting strong in that phase, and then take a little deload and go back to your hypertrophy, and then you'll probably find yourself a little stronger and using the weight that you got strong with in your strength phase to now using that weight to be in your hypertrophy, and you've kind of made that progress.
Off-topic question, what position did you play in football?
Running back mostly, and then I did boundary half in Canada. That's basically like a quarterback, and like short side, and specials. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Mind Pump? If you have, do they give out reliable information?
Mind Pump's pretty good. Mind Pump's pretted good, actually. I've recommended them for a few people for sure.
Doing three workouts a week, shoulder and back, chest, legs, triceps, biceps. Is that okay?
Shoulder and back.
Chest and legs.
Yeah, yes, it is. But again, if the goal is trying to maximize muscle, muscle size or growth, then you're going to have to do that again, right? Those 3 are fine if you do it more than once. But if you still, again, you can still definitely build muscle that way. It's going to take a lot longer if you're only training 3 times a week. And I'm assuming you're really spreading those days out. So.
What kind of shoes are those, bro?
These are the Vivo bare feet. What are those? Yeah.
I'm recovering from bicep tendinitis, And in PT, any specific training recommendations that I can do while I wait for the pain to recede so I don't lose muscle?
Bicep tendinitis. Man, I forget that one. I can't off the top of my head. I know stretching a bit, doing your own manual, meaning like stretching or, getting like if you even have like a graph, or just even your thumb and it's like massaging the area and keeping it, flexing it. I used to get them all the time here, or my arm just would suck. So I would literally kind of dig in here and kind of like work the movement and keep it moving, and so it doesn't get tightened up. That's all I have for now, because I'd have to really look in that before. I want to bullshit you, but yeah.
Hey Johnny, is it better to concentrate on the squeeze and the controlled contraction, lower weight, or progressively overload with a bit of body language to get the rep in? Great content, by the way.
Both. I would say I'll give you an example. I would say. All right. So here's both. Okay. So here's your example, right? We're curling one at a time, and we're stretching, and we're curling, and we're stretching all the way down. We're really like just milking, squeezing, and all the way down, right? And then all of a sudden, it's getting hard. Well, then guess what? We're gonna use a little bit of body English just to kind of get it up, just so we can control it back down again. And here, and a little bit of a pull just to get up so we can, get that contraction on the way down. So it's cool to do both. Just don't start off doing this, right? So go strict as long as you can. We are maximizing just like really good tension, squeezing it up, emphasizing stretching at the bottom. And then once you can't do that anymore, then we start bringing on a little bit of that body English, just so we can. The point of cheating is so we can get that full range of motion all the way back down.
How do you deal with right shoulder pain or rotator cuff pain after a press exercise? I sometimes have pain after a barbell press.
I'm gonna say form. If you go to my school group, you can put your video in and I can coach you up on it. So link in the description below. I would look at definitely form, a few things, right? Are you riding up like this? Are we pressing too much into our shoulder? Are we internally rotating a bit, depending, like how we're gripping the bar? And then look into how much are you focusing on mobility, massage therapy. A lot of times we have shoulder pain. It's kind of like referral pain to really tight lats or really tight teres. So a lot of times when our back gets too worked or overworked, it pulls the front of our body too. So let's make sure that when you're doing whatever you're doing, we're covering those things as well too. Mobility, massage therapy, that stuff now kind of help mitigate some of the pain.
What ratio of fats, proteins, and carbs in each meal? I'm eating 2,800 calories daily in 4 meals and need help.
Okay, I don't know exactly each meal, but altogether, how many calories?
2,800.
Okay, so 2,800. So you're gonna hear your 2,800 calories, right? 1 to 1 grams of protein per body weight. 20 to 30% of that 2,800 calories would come from fats. Then the rest of the calories left over are going to be for your carbs, and then you can divide that up in your meals. And then I'll make sure if you're male or female, 25 grams of fiber in those including those carbs, or 35 grams of fiber for men.
Turning 50 in September,
Yeah.
Testosterone is 620, training since 2017, lifetime natural. Can I still put on muscle at this age?
Yes, 100%. I have a lot of clients who are in their 50s, 60s that are making gains. Here's the thing. Most people have not maximized muscle growth or they've reached their peak ability to build muscle, like the peak natural genetic limit. Most people haven't. So I do this. Look at your physique. I do this with my clients because they've asked me the same question. I'll kind of do a 360. They'll send me pictures front, back, and side, and I'll show them their physique. And for instance, one of my clients had this kind of gap between the shoulder blades. The shoulder blades kind of bowed, and you saw how much muscle there wasn't in the middle of their back, like they're trapped. So like if you think about this, if that person has a kind of gap in their back and they put on muscle, right? There's definitely muscle they can put on in their back, in their traps, their upper trap, their middle trap, lower traps, whatever. So yeah, 100% you can definitely grow muscle. The big thing you have to do is make sure that you cover all the basics so you can actually build muscle. 1 to 1 grams of protein per body weight, make sure you eat enough calories, make sure you drink enough water, making sure you're sleeping, make sure you have enough calories in general, so yeah.
I had shoulder surgery and can't get full vertical extension. Any good substitutions for lat pull downs?
Yeah, let's go over here. Lat pull downs, can't get full extension, so yeah, it makes sense. You probably got labrum something or other. I'm assuming you kind of like only get to here before your trap starts kind of doing this. Let's go here.
Okay.
So let's just say I can't get full range like you can't, right? And we're not gonna adjust this because you probably can't do this right now. Right, my range of motion, right? Like your shoulder probably being affected because of your shoulder surgery. So I'm not expecting you to be able to just go like all the way here. So we can always again, push that shoulder down or the elbow down to get like a lot of, to get more stimulus in your lats, and then be able to pull from here and squeezing and then going as far as you can. That's completely fine in doing this, right? You don't have to stretch all the way through. If you naturally can let the weight pull you as far as you can while you're keeping your chest up, you'll be able to pull a little more, but don't think you have to do all this when you get to the top, right? At least as long as we're engaging our lats, keeping your chest up, think about pulling your elbows down, creating tension on your lat, you're fine.
Does focusing on the stretch provide the most hypertrophy, or does emphasizing contraction still stand as a strong tool?
I missed that because I heard tink, 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 tink.
Does focusing on the stretch provide the most hypertrophy, or does emphasizing contraction still stand as a strong tool?
Yes, I think 100%, and let me show you why. Here. So let's just do this for fun. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about like hypertrophy, right? And stretching. Let's do this. Make sure more. All right. Because I know that we've emphasized the stretch, right? So bicep curls, I want to stretch from here, right? And if I was going to want a bigger stretch, obviously I want to be back here. But just for measure, we're just going to say here, right? So here's the negative here, the negative's down here, and I get a big stretch, right? Yes, we're going to build muscle here, and we're going to load all the way down. We're going to build muscle there as well too. But if I get all the way up, right? Every time that I flex my muscle, the tension on my muscle increases, which is going to make the negative into the stretch, the tension higher, right? So if you think about, this is going to kind of blow your minds, maybe. When we look at training and muscle growth, it's really, when you look at it, it's distance, time, and load. So if I curl from here to here, what's that, about a foot, maybe, foot and a half, right? So if I do 10 reps, I just went 10 feet. If I go here to here, I only went about like half the distance. Even though I'm getting a lot of stimulus down here, I'm only going half the distance. So what I would have to do, probably 10 more reps to get the same distance of tension if I went from here to here, because your heart or your body's gonna adapt to that load and that distance. So if you're walking down the street, if you walk 10 feet with just your body weight, easily can walk 10 feet. If someone jumps on your back, it's gonna be really hard for you to walk 10 feet. You're probably gonna get a lot more tired. And then your body will adapt, and then you'll be able to probably walk that 10 feet easily again. Now take that same person and walk 10 more feet, it's that much harder. And your body has to adapt to that. So yeah, it's good to just get to here and kind of get that stretch, but I want to get the most amount of tension. So if I curl all the way up, I'm creating a lot more tension, and then on the way down, tension is increasing with every rep, rather than kind of just doing this and staying stretched. So yes, in short, get the full contraction, right? Then when you can't get the full contraction, then just do the long length partials.
What is your best chest builder?
My best chest builder will be, it's being used, but it'll be a Smith machine, incline press, or a incline dumbbell press, where I can really open up my chest, have the dumbbells come to my side of my body and stretch and pull.
Jeez, relax. I do pull-ups when I start my back workout, but my left elbow will hurt after my first set. Is there a way to warm up elbows?
Yes, if you're trying to warm your elbows up, do some tricep extensions. It's always good. I used to get the same. Right now, I actually got, like right here is actually hurting. I didn't know what I did to it, but when I'm squeezing right now, it hurts just doing that, like a little bit. And when I pull, like it's the same idea. So what you want to do is, if anything, if your elbow is hurting, I think like your tricep is gonna kind of, it's gonna come under here and it's gonna help pull your elbow, right? And same with biceps. So you want to do a little bit of, I would say like, get some like a really lighter weight. Whether it's over like this and you're just stretching, you're stretching the tricep and just from here, or just even go from here to here, or doing partials and doing the same thing from here and just going from here and just kind of just like warming up that joint, right? So you kind of want to warm that up, and that's going to kind of help a bit. Try doing that before, and then again, stretching.
What's your weight now?
210.
If your muscle is still sore, are you gonna do exercise to that muscle even though this is the day you hit that muscle? So basically, are you training a muscle even though it's sore?
If I'm not recovered by if I'm doing a push-pull legs and and I'm on my next push day and I'm not fully recovered, I have to go back and see what's going on with my recovery. Am I sleeping enough? Am I eating enough? What does my recovery look like? And that will kind of give you an idea, because again, if you're not recovered by then, something's up. But if you're saying you're not recovered by then and you're in a lot of pain, then it's okay to skip a day, right? It's like take a rest day that day, or even like move another exercise back. But it's completely fine to take a break. It's all depending on like how you kind of judge or measure that pain. Is it like actual pain where like you get in there and you can't move? I wouldn't recommend it. If it's like, meh, it's not really bugging that much, but you feel it, it's like kind of like, annoying-ish, go right ahead.
Yes, this is live. Why don't you use Olympic rings?
Why don't I? I used to, a lot. We still have them here. Do we have Olympic rings here?
I don't.
Actually, no. Rowan had some rings. Yeah, you do. I used to use Olympic rings all of the time. Like, go back some old videos. Go back 3 years ago, or even 4 now. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. And I use rings for everything. I take rings, I use them for accessories. I use them for, I put them on the high row machine. I put them on the T-bar row, chest support. I put them on cables. I use rings all the time.
How do I increase my bench strength?
Progressive overload. Give yourself some time to, I would say, schedule in some strength phases so you can get stronger that way. You'll get stronger naturally, or I would say just like, by progressive overload when you're in your, hypertrophy phase. But if you're actually trying to get stronger in chest, I would make sure that you're doing a strength block where you're trying to get stronger. So I would, decrease the rep speed, or increase the rep speed, or decrease it, sorry. Increase the weight, lower the rep, do that for 4 to 6 weeks, and then start your hypertrophy phase again. Or you join the community, I can give you more information about that. Join the school community, guys. You guys are missing out. I'm telling you, all the questions you're asking, you're waiting for Monday. I'm doing this all the time. You guys get a lot more of me all the time. So join the school community. It's in the link in the description below.
Update 368 to 336. Appreciate your videos. They help out a lot.
Yeah, there you go. Keep it up, man.
Are you off the juice?
Yes. Yes, I've been off the juice since October 2021. I'm just gonna get it tattooed soon. Juice-free since October 2021.
Can you demonstrate pulling power from the ground? I know it's floor to core, shoulders back and down, but sometimes when lifting, the focus goes to mind-muscle connection.
What kind of pull?
Good question.
Pulling from the floor?
Like, yeah, like pulling power
Like a
from
deadlift?
the ground. Like, he knows this floor to core, shoulders back and down, but sometimes when he's lifting, the focus goes to mind-muscle connection and not necessarily like stability from, I would say, from floor to core.
Okay, so not like an actual deadlift, just like pulling power from the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. Pulling power or any kind of power, because it's kind of all the same. Let's find ourselves a, here's the bench right here, kind of moves it over. Check your legs. Put an angle like this. All right. Tell me if he says anything different, because I want to make sure I'm actually doing this. Let's keep it here, actually. I'll show you some tricks. All right. All right. So, when I'm pressing, I'm actually pressing into the floor. There's 3 points of where I'm actually like actively pushing as well, when I'm negatively loading and when I'm concentrically loading as well too. So right away, my feet are on the ground, and like you can watch, I'm flexing my legs a little bit. So I'm almost like pushing myself into the floor. My chest is up, and see, I'm here. On the way down, if you watch, my hips aren't off the bench, right? My hips are still on the bench. I'm pressing the ground. When I'm lowering the weight, there's tension right on my entire foot, into my glutes, and my shoulder blades on the way down. And that's where my power comes from here. When I'm pushing again into the ground. So I have this like feeling like I'm almost like hovering on the way down and pulling my chest up. And then I'm here, I'm pushing myself into the floor by pushing my feet again, right? So if you look at my feet, I don't know how much you can see, but I'm literally like this. I'm flexing this all the way down and then pressing, right? I'm very active from here. And then that allows me to just focus more on this part than I do on the actual movement itself, because at this point, I don't really need to. I feel it all the time. It's very like, it's second nature for me. So everything else I'm doing is focusing on every other muscle group to make sure that I can get the full, like the entire lift onto my chest, a majority of it, right? So think about like, you see me right now, I'm literally active from here. I'm like this. So I'm not relaxed. And my legs aren't just back like this. They're here. I'm pushing into the ground when I'm pressing.
I can't get into the gym. Push-up variations that work the lower chest.
Push-up variations work for lower chest?
Yeah, can't get to the gym, trying to work lower chest. Is there a push-up variation you can do to work lower chest?
I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about like your lower chest. I would say like doing anything to like elevate your hands, if anything. So do deficit push-ups. So I don't know if you have like books or if you have dumbbells at home where you can basically, I like kind of doing like this, where this will allow me to get all the way down and stretch, right? Or you can get like something else to stack up a little higher. Even if I did this, same idea. As I get all the way down, and then get a good stretch and pull up, right? That will help. But for doing, for under your chest doing push-ups, just do push-ups. You're gonna work on your chest anyway, regardless.
What's the best certification to get to be a personal trainer?
They're all similar. Some are pretty good. Like there's ACE, SNASM, ISSA, CSCS would be like your top notch. Very, very in depth. But those are good. NASM, ACE, CSCS, ISSA. I know Jordan Shallow's prescript is really good. I'll do that if you want to get even more in depth. And then really, what matters the most is when you do, whatever cert you get, it's going to be more so on like how much research you do after to help yourself to be able to apply what you know. Because a lot of times people can, I coach people have their, I coach doctors, I coach exercise scientists. I'm dead serious. And the difference is like, they don't have that experience I have when it comes to applying things to people. So most people that are in school that are doing their, human kinetics or biomechanics, whatever it is, their placements aren't with people that much. They're just in school and they might have some placements here and there. So they don't spend a lot of time with actual people and day to day. So that's gonna be the biggest thing is like whatever you learn, make sure you're doing your proper research after the fact and then learning yourself so you can apply it to other people.
Different question. What's your thoughts on taking creatine at age 40? I'm not competing.
Take it.
Just healthy living and
100%
gaining muscle.
Take it. Take it. Take it. 100% take it. Creatine is for your brain as well too. If people think it's just for your muscle, creatine is an unbelievable source for your cognitive health. So that and being 40, 100%. I think you say like 14, I'd be like, yo, chill it, dude. But like 40, eat that shit. 5 grams.
Do you have a recommendation?
Yes, Blue Star Creatine. Blue Star Creatine, link in the description below. There's link, guys. You guys look at my links? Get the links. What's links on there, guys? Get the links.
Don't you have a scheduled plan for working out and recovery and also meal prep?
Do I have a scheduled plan?
I think so. I think it was miswritten.
I don't. What I do is I customize those for people. So I customize plans for people. So when you get your, if you go to my site and you're looking for something for yourself, for all things you just said, I do the research, get it ready for you, and then you have the plan specifically for yourself, covering everything. So not like you just get, here's a meal plan. Like here's meal plans and some recipes if you want to have a little fun there. If it's training stuff, you get the training plan as well as some, recommendations for, stretching and mobility. So it's like everything.
Any tips for fixing forearm splints? They are so painful and stubborn. Feel like my lifting career is finished.
Forearm splints? Mm-hmm. So his forearm's jacked.
I guess so, yeah.
Jacked up. Go to physio, 100%. Get yourself assessed. Don't a lot of times, guys, when you're getting injured or there's something that's nagging, don't do the young STD test. Meaning if you don't know, you don't know. Go to a physiotherapist, go to a massage therapist, get assessed so they can say, hey, that's what I do all the time. I'm giving you advice that I do to myself. Anytime I got something that's nicked, I'm just I'm gonna go find it right now, and they're gonna assess it hey, this is the issue. This is how you fix it. And then that's how I learned so much about my body is by just doing that. It's better to do that than to kind of try to work around it or just kind of guess or just leave it alone. So do that first, and then they'll give you way better answers than I will because I don't really know your situation 100%. So do that first.
I'm gonna put these two together because they're right after each other. How important is sleep versus nutrition? And Johnny, if I'm sleeping 5 hours at night, is that a big deal?
Okay, so man, sleep and nutrition, we'll put it this way, if your nutrition is awesome and you don't sleep, don't matter. If you're not sleeping, you're not digesting. I mean, you're gonna digest, but you're not gonna optimize everything that your body does when it sleeps. When your body's sleeping, when your body goes to bed, right? It's like putting your body in sleep mode for a computer. Fuck. Anyway, so when you're sleeping, your body doesn't have to do anything else but just focus on recovering. That's its job. When it's sleeping, it's not worrying about walking, it's not worrying about moving, it's not worrying about anything. All it's doing is letting your body maximize all the things it can do while it's at rest. So if your diet is on point, straight up, this just awesome, and your training is awesome, and you don't sleep, you're not gonna maximize the benefits of all the things that you're actually doing. So sleep is your staple for all the things you're doing. Is 5 hours good enough? It all depends on what those 5 hours look like. Now, I would say if you're getting 5 hours of total sleep, actual sleep, it's okay. But if it's I'm only in bed for 5 hours, I go to bed and I'm up and I got 5 hours, no, because you probably only slept for maybe an hour. So when it comes to like sleep and what is a good sleep? Good sleep is here. Everyone try it out. If you guys are all coffee drinkers or not coffee drinkers, don't drink any coffee. I want you to go a day without drinking any coffee, no stims or nothing. And if you're nodding off all day long, whatever sleep you had is not enough sleep. If you go the whole day and you're not nodding off and you're feeling pretty good, then however your sleep was, that's enough sleep.
Totally off of HRT too? If yes, how do you recover your natural production?
How do I, so here, okay, I'll give you the backstory. When, before do the keyword COVID anymore? Before the pandemic, I was an open class bodybuilder. So I was doing open class IBB amounts of steroids, grams, okay, lots. And then when the pandemic happened, I was about to compete for the same shows I did before, and we couldn't travel. So within that time, I did a series called Becoming Leader Than Greg Doucette. That's how my channel kind of did its thing. And he was like, we both of us were like, we're not doing anything. He's like, I might as well just lower the dose and then do 150 milligrams of test. At that time, I did like 150 milligrams of test and I think like 100 milligrams of Mastrone. And I continued my prep. And I did the Becoming Leader Than Greg Doucette, and then literally we did a little competition in my basement, and that was it. And then I stayed on 150 milligrams of test for the remainder. And then when we were able to actually travel again, I was like, I'm gonna go do a show. Recommended to drop down to 212. That way I don't have to do as much. So I stayed on 150 milligrams of test while dropping down to 212, right? And my whole cycle is out there. As soon as the 212 was done, I couldn't compete because I got sick. For 2 years, I was doing 150 milligrams of test. When I came off cold turkey, but I came off of doing only 150 milligrams of testosterone. I didn't come off cold turkey of doing 2 to almost 3 grams of everything included, right? So my body kind of naturally went from doing a lot and then 2 years of just doing like an HRT dose, right? Like I would say amount. And then when it came off, me coming off wasn't a massive amount. So I kind of naturally came off. When I came off, I started taking testosterone. I was like, I'm gonna see if testosterone actually works. I took that when I came off, and then I stopped taking that. So when I came off when I finished my prep in July, in October, I came off everything. And then I went on just testosterone to December and then stopped. And then I literally started taking Blue Star Nutraceutical status. And both those things actually work, right? Which is hilarious. Well, they work for me. And my body recovered it went back up to 575 the last time I checked. So I think it's because my body naturally just went down from the amounts. That's my theory. But again, like everybody's body is different. And it's not like, if I came off of the big dose, like if I was a cold turkey and came off 1,000 milligrams, I'd just be in a wreck. Because when I did come off the first time so I could have my kid in 2017, when I came off and got my blood work checked, endocrinologist got my sperm, semen, everything checked, my test was at 0.85, and that's in Canada. So it was 8 out of 32, it was 0.85. And then I recovered after taking HCG, Novadex, Clomid, and Triptorelin, and I recovered to only 7.75 nanograms per deciliter. And then I had a kid. So I got blood work, tests galore and stuff. So yeah, I'm an anomaly? I don't know, gifted.
Is deadlift a leg exercise or back, and is it okay to skip it?
It's okay to skip it, for sure. And I would say it's more of a leg exercise than a back exercise, for sure. It's a leg exercise. It's not a back. Here's a back exercise. This is a back exercise. This is a back exercise. This is not a back exercise. So it's basically, why? Because in order for it to be a back exercise,
excuse me, sorry.
In order for it to be a back exercise, your arm needs to get pulled down like this or pulled down like this. When you're doing deadlifts, rack pulls, you're just doing this. You're static like this. So if I'm doing squats and I'm like this because my back is being engaging my lats, it's not a back exercise, it's still a leg exercise.
It's been 2 years and I can't lose my lower body fat. Some tips? Bro, my lower is increasing. Can't stop it.
I can guarantee you, no offense, buddy, to be real with you, you're probably not in a proper deficit. I can guarantee you're probably not utilizing cardio enough, because I can tell you there's no one on this planet who can't lose weight. I've worked with a few clients who had a thyroidectomy. Like they had their thyroid removed and were taking thyroid medication, and doctors like, oh, I can't lose weight, yada, yada. Yeah, you can. So I would revisit your plan. What's your strategy to actually losing weight? Are you maximizing some cardio? Because if you're not moving enough, you can definitely lose some weight there. And what kind of deficit are you actually in?
What do you do outside the gym to gain muscle?
What I do outside the gym to gain muscle? Nothing. I use the gym to gain muscle. I'm dead serious. That's like, there's anything outside of the gym, I'm not gaining any muscle because I'm not doing anything that's creating enough resistance for me to gain muscle. So like I'm throwing knives outside, I do archery, I jog.
Jiu-jitsu.
What?
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu. All those things they're not creating muscle hypertrophy, right? So the gym is where I do that. And if I brought some kettlebells outside, then maybe, but yeah.
I do neutral grip, wide pull downs, seated chest supported row, and wide cable rows. Is this a good workout for developing all muscles in the back?
We got chest supported. We got rows.
So you have neutral grip,
We're
wide
here.
pull downs.
We're here.
Yep.
Then we're
Seated
here.
chest supported row, and
then we're here.
wide cable row.
Wide cable row. Yeah, you're good. You're covering all basics, right? Bam, bam, bam. So like here, chest support horizontal, and then maybe a chest support, bent over, or even just doing anything bent over. 100%.
Would creatine be counted as being on gear?
No. I guess I'll just want to say we create creatine in our body naturally, but so we do testosterone, and then people that take tests exogenous are not natural, and if you take creatine, you don't create. It's a gray area. You are 100% natural if you take creatine. You are not natural if you take steroids.
Johnny, what's your opinion on fasting while training?
I do it. I do it because that's my schedule. Because that's what works for me. Now, if I was trying to like maximize muscle growth, is there a big difference between training fasted or not? I think it's more so in like what you do after. But again, you're probably gonna get a lot more out of your workout if you put some kind of carb for glycogen into your body, so you can get that better all contraction. Again, if I was trying to like really maximize muscle growth right now, 100%, I would still train fasted, but I would give myself some kind of like a small carb, like like a fruit or something, maybe like a waxy maize kind of like drink, something like that if I wanted to. But if you don't do that, I'd recommend making sure that you're getting a good meal to help replenish you after you work out, for sure.
I've been fairly lean most of my life and now 57 and had inguinal hernia surgery 2 months ago. What is the most important thing I can do to kickstart my metabolism and start burning off body fat?
So I have a couple clients that had some hernia surgery. So a big thing is like make sure who's that?
His name is Rich Boyce.
No, I was like, it was Trevor.
Definitely not.
But he chose that 57. So number one, make sure you're recovered, right? So don't do anything strenuous. Like make sure you're doing what you can to make sure you're recovering. I think you got some work to do in terms of like helping with scar tissue. But if anything, if you want to increase your metabolism, the most way to do that is to move, right? So when you're moving, you're making your body has to replace the energy that you're using. Your body's job, well, not one of the job, is like basically bring everything back to like, baseline. So if I do activity, your body's going to send off signals to make you go eat to replace that energy that you used. So, making sure you're getting out and like walking or, at first until you can actually like, jog. I know my client was recovering from his surgery. He couldn't train at all. So biggest thing for him was just like walking. And then, I'm pretty sure he might have the same thing, but he had this, the kind of belt for his stomach that I had a pad here to help push it in for recovery wise, and had it on tight, and then we have him do some walks to make sure he's still exercising. So we'll do that first. And then once once things are starting to heal up a little more, then you can kind of increase your activity level and you can actually start training.
We're gonna power off a couple more here. We're at time.
What?
We're at time now, so I'm
Okay,
just
yeah.
gonna power off a couple more.
Well-
Does doing ab workouts without dieting and cardio bulking increase your waist size also while taking creatine?
Well, doing abs.
While
increase
doing
your-
ab workouts without dieting and cardio, bulking increase your waist size also while taking creatine?
No. It's first of all, it's genetic. Again, like all my abs here, my obliques and stuff. Like like every other muscle group, when they get bigger, they grow out. For sure, it'll get bigger, but it's also like how you're structured genetically. Like you'll have a small waist regardless. So like Chris Bumstead trains in his bulk and whatever, he doesn't have a big ass waist. So.
Sup, Johnny? I rate your honesty. Would you give your opinion on Mike Israetel and whether or not him quitting bodybuilding is a good idea? His mind seems to be out of whack right now.
My opinion on Mike is, here's the thing that people don't like. Here's the shitty thing about the narrative that's going on, and I actually got to talk to Mike about this. Mike knows exactly what he's doing, right? He's not an idiot. So he does love life and he does love his, all of what he's doing. If he finds that he's doing something that he's for sure detrimental to him, he's probably gonna stop for sure. But that's for him to do. And so it comes to like my opinion what he should do. My opinion is like, Mike, do what's best for you. I'm never gonna tell somebody to stop chasing their dreams. If his dream is to build whatever, I'm not going to tell him to stop doing that. All I'm going to say is be careful when you do it. I made the same point I made in my video about me riding a motorcycle. Like someone's going to tell me, Johnny, stop riding a motorcycle. It's like, I'm not going to listen to you, but I'm going to do exactly what I need to do to make sure that I'm riding a motorcycle as safe as I possibly can. I don't believe that what he's doing is a detriment to himself. I think that he knows what he's doing, and then, he'll pull back when he needs to, and he'll just continue to do what he needs to do. But yeah, I don't think you should. I'm telling him, take your time. When you're done prep, do another one. When you have time, do like everyone else does, recover and come back. He's not the only bodybuilder that goes through like mental, like every single bodybuilder on this planet, like even myself, had to manage a lot of the chemicals that are going into our body. Every bodybuilder, from Chris Bumstead all the way down to your amateur, they're all going through the things. When you prep, it is chaos. When you're done prepping, it's not chaos. So it's just a part of the prep. And it sounds crazy to say that, but like think about boxers. They have a full season of getting their head jacked and pumped, punched out all the time, right? So when they're done a match, what do? They have time. They actually have like a period of probation where they can't fight, where they can heal, cuts, brain, all those things, and then they go right back into the ring. And I'm sure eventually when those boxers like, yeah, you know what, I'm kind of done boxing, then they stop boxing. I don't think he's there yet.
Right, we'll do one more. It says, hi, Johnny. If I want to train shoulders twice per week with focus on side delts and rear delts, would you do 2 exercises with 3 sets, 6 sets together for each side and rear delts, or is that too much?
If you're doing shoulders twice a week, again, you can, on a day, you're like 3 to 12 hard sets per muscle group. So if you're doing twice a week, you can definitely do 3 to 12 hard sets for each of those weeks. So when it comes to like actual like the muscle itself, like the shoulder, we're talking about the entire shoulder. So if you do like 3 sets of shoulder of lateral raises, that counts. 3 sets of lateral raises, that's 3. Shoulder press, that's 6. Rear delts, if you do 3 again, that's 9, right? So you can do the same thing, and then like say you want more on the next day, you don't have to do as many sets. You could probably do like maybe half the amount of sets. That's the question. That's it. Yeah. Hey guys, appreciate you guys. Again, if you guys want to get more in-depth coaching for a very discounted cost, like very discounted, $25 a month, all of my ebooks, all of my training splits, everything that I create is free in there with the membership, as well as information galore. I'm actually doing a competition for my recipe book that I'm putting out in the group right now. I'm doing a competition. I'm putting in the recipes. The people in the group, they take a picture. They take a picture of the recipe. It has to be nice. And the best recipe picture will get a prize. You also get to put in more recipes or pictures, depending on how many things I put out. I'm putting out like 1 to 5 recipes for each, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and whatnot. And once a week, Q&As as well too. We share the screen, we talk, and all the good stuff. So get in that group. Link in the description below. Anyway, until the next time, guys. You know how it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.